Okay, get this. Life is boring but beautiful at the same time. Um, Also, if you hear noise, that's my heater. And if you hear any background noise or doors opening, that's my roommates. But back onto the topic, life is boring and beautiful at the same time. You know, life can be really boring at times. And, I think we always try to fill the void by doing things that maybe aren't great for us or falling into bad habits, falling into negative thoughts. And we can also do things that are positive for us too. We can decide to go on a hike, watch a funny video, hang out with friends, go somewhere that we've always wanted to go, like alone with people. We just try to do anything that will interest us in the moment. I also think we're creatures that live in the moment, and we always stress about the future and the past. We always regret things in the past, or we ponder on the past, and we worry about the future. And I think that there's some good and bad to that. But sometimes we often either don't live in the moment as much as we should, or we do bad things in the moment, or we are very spontaneous in the moment because we just want something exciting to happen. We just want something thrilling and like heart racing to happen to us. And oftentimes, it can be dangerous things, especially growing up too, young people do dangerous things for fun. And I personally don't think that I had too much of a risky phase growing up. I was always a pretty normal, I don't know what you would classify as a normal teenager or normal adolescent growing up, but yeah, I didn't think I had anything too crazy going on. I had some drama here and there with my friend group, the normal high school drama, but yeah, nothing too drastic, I would say. But yeah, life can get boring. And for me, how I tend to go about my time is I try to just do things that I'm interested in. We all have hobbies. We all have, individual solo hobbies that we tend to divert to in moments of needing to feel something or do something fun. For me, I love to be active and move my body. I love working out. I love going outside if it's nice. I love going on runs. I love going to the gym. I love dancing. And dancing is a new hobby that I've picked up that I'm really enjoying, and it's allowing me to express myself. It allows me to be in the moment more and to really feel the music. And I try to make it just me and the music and do a lot of freestyle. I'm also choreographing my own dances now and joining clubs at school that are involved with dance. And it's been really fun for me. And I've met a lot of new people, and I've made new friendships, new connections, and have experienced a whole vast of things that, I can look back on as I go through life and say, you know what, that was a really fun time in my life. That was a really fun experience. And life, though, it's not always that way. For me, especially growing up as an only child, I've always tried to teach myself to be okay with being alone. But I wasn't always alone. At school, I had my friends and I had some close connections. I never was a kid that struggled making friends. I always had a big friend group. I was very social and I could get along with people really well. But at home, I didn't really have any friends or any siblings to turn to when I needed not just support or help, but like company. And I tried to teach myself that it was okay to be alone and that I have to try to entertain myself, especially now being in a environment where everything is so big compared to how it was when I was younger. Because, yeah, when you do grow up and you do enter the real world, you'll see that the little area that you've lived in all your life is nothing compared to what you're about to experience, especially going from high school to university. That is a very big jump, in my opinion, not just in lifestyle, but in the environment and what you'll experience and who you'll encounter. They're all going to be different. Um, High school, you're around the same group of friends the majority of the time. They'll be in your classes, you'll see them at lunch, you're kind of around the same people. But in university, it's harder to maintain friends. If you meet a friend in a class, it's harder to hang out with them, or you'll have to plan a lot of time with them, and you'll really have to try to maintain friendships in university. And if you don't maintain friendships well enough, those people have their life, you have yours, you guys get busy, and soon you find that you're not really keeping close connections anymore, or your friends that you met have become more distant because you're not really keeping in touch with them. And therefore, you'll find yourself being a little bit more lonely and seeking other things to fill that void. And a lot of times, too, when you don't have close connections or you don't feel like you have people to turn to, you might fall into this depression. You might fall into this negative mindset, or you might start to think negatively about the future, especially if you don't know who you are, you don't know where you're going, you don't have passion, you don't have a drive, you don't have support in your life, you have trauma of some sort, you don't have good people around you, you don't have anyone around you. A lot of things can really change your perception about yourself and about where you're going to go and who you are. And I know this has affected me in my life, and I know it's affected, if not majority, then all of everyone that lives on earth. I think we all have this thought that runs in our heads, and we have to tell ourselves, like, who am I? What do I like to do? Who do I want to be? Who do I look up to? Who am I inspired by? What am I inspired by? What is my goal in life? Who do I want to become? A lot of these things that we are pressured in a way to think about so early in our lives is what is really stressful to us. And as we go through our early stages of life, we want to try new things, we want to experience new things. And I think that's so normal, especially for young people. And that's why a lot of the time they do reckless things, or they do things that they know they're not supposed to do, because they're just trying to experience life. And depending on how they're shown good and bad, or what they experience in their environment, they're going to act a certain way or be a certain way, or tend to gravitate to these very risky, negative people or things in their life that could ultimately lead them down a negative road. Or maybe they'll learn from it and they'll grow from it, and they'll know next time in the future not to go down that path, or how to handle those situations when they arise. So I guess what I'm really trying to say is boredom can lead to many different positive and negative things. It can lead to negative mindsets. It can lead to procrastination. It can lead to demotivation. It can lead to bad morals, bad values. It can lead to positive things as well. We are very creative, and depending on our interests, our values, who we're surrounded by, what our environment is, what we've encountered and experienced, boredom will lead us to different paths in our lives, who which ultimately is what makes us who we are right now, in this moment, in the future, and what that's ultimately what made us who we were in the past. But life can also be beautiful as well. You just have to be willing to go through the difficult paths of experiencing different things, because life is very difficult, and it's easier said than done. Just ride the waves, go through the difficult moments to get to the great moments, and you'll be fine. It is so easy to say that, and life is really hard. I don't think life is meant to be easy, and life can suck a lot of the time. And even if our life is exciting, I feel like also we tend to look for more. As soon as we hit a goal, we want more. And we're always people that crave the next thing. If we save up to buy the latest iPhone and we get the latest iPhone, we've earned it. A new one comes out, and guess what we want? We want that one now, because it has all the new features. It has all the new, like, it has a great camera. It has a new, like, built-in state-of-the-art system that is really cool. Everyone's talking about it. We want that now. So then guess what we do? We try to save up for the next one, or we get impatient and we start to do things that we never thought we would do to get it. These are just some examples of just, how we are, and we also want things when we want things. It's hard to wait on things. It's hard to take the long way out. It's hard to ride the waves and experience the journey. We kind of just want to get to the destination. And it's hard for me too, but they say that good things come to people who wait, and I try to stand by that. I try to be optimistic, and I try to also do things in the moment that will benefit me in the future. And I know that you can't really affect the future right now, but You have to live in the moment to get to the future. And you got to do what you got to do right now that's good for yourselves, what you want to do, and the future will come when it comes. And the past is in the past. And even if life may be boring now, you'll wake up one day and the boredom will go away. Something will come to you, something will inspire you that will make you want to continue. And, you know, I say too, if you want to find a passion or something to be motivated about and determined about and to want to pursue every day, just do the things that you're interested in. For me personally, I strive to do things of interest instead of just looking at it from what can I benefit? Can I earn the most money? Can I go to the nicest places? Can I like meet the most famous people? Can I become famous? I don't typically look at it that way. There's nothing wrong if you look at it that way. If that's what makes you happy, then I say go for it. You know, as long as you're not hurting anyone, you're not hurting yourself, and you keep good morals and values, go for what you want and do what you need to do to make yourself happy. But for me personally, I tend to want to do things that I'm interested in and that motivate me and that give me the drive to share what I need to share, whether that's making videos, making a YouTube channel, whatever it is that drives me right now, I'm going to do it. And today I was at the gym and I was really wanting to sit down and make this video. I was so excited. I was waiting to come back and take a shower and sit here and talk about this because in a way I was inspired. And I just wanted to share some of my thoughts about it because I also am a kind of person that I love to talk to myself almost as if I'm talking to another person. And this is just another way that I can share my opinions and my thoughts that I always think about throughout the day and that I'm thinking about and talking about with myself. And in a way, this is how I see the beauty in life as well, and how a lot of things can fall into place. And if you try to connect the dots to an outcome or an end result, you'll see that it was probably meant to be. It could have been fated. You could have manifested it. It could have been what you were destined to do. It could have been something that you needed to do at the time. And that in itself is really like that self-discovery is kind of fascinating. And I'm also grateful that I have the time and the space to really get to know who I want to be and who I am, because not everyone gets that. And I have the space to be able to be bored and find things that I want to do and find interests that I want to pursue and find certain hobbies that I want to take on and that are going to be long lasting, that are going to be part of my lifestyle. And honestly, I feel like I sound very optimistic right now. And I am an optimistic person, but I tend to have a lot of negative thoughts as well. I am an optimistic person, and I do believe that things will work out for me. And that can also be a coping mechanism of mine as well, because sometimes in the moment, even if exciting things are going on, I still don't get that excitement that I think I should get. I'm not sure if that makes any sense, but it's almost like I can't be excited for things. I used to get so excited all the time when I was younger, and in a way, I think growing up too, it doesn't even matter if you've been through anything traumatic. Life just becomes less fun. Life becomes more stressful, and growing up isn't all of that our younger selves think it is. In the moment, when we're younger, sometimes we want to be older. And then now when we're older, we want to be younger because we realize how good we had it. But there are some good things to growing up as well. Like, I won't discredit that. And I'm happy with how I'm growing up right now. I can't complain. The only thing is that, life is boring and it's okay. Like, it's not like what we see in the movies. And me being a very big movie and television person, growing up, I watched a lot of that stuff and I still do. Like, it's a big part of my life now. You get this perception of like what life could be like. And being so naive when we're young, we kind of tend to believe it. And growing up now, it's not at all like that. Life can be lonely. And sometimes people aren't the kind of people that you think they are or that you want in your life. And sometimes you can feel alone. Even if you have 1,000 people, you can still feel alone in that crowd. And you can't really push someone to do anything they don't want to do, and vice versa. If you're going through an issue, or your friend or whoever is going through an issue, it's kind of up to you or them to deal with that issue on their own. Other people can give them advice and give them as much help as they need. They can hear all, they can see all, they can experience all. But ultimately, you kind of have to help yourself. And that's the hard part, because you also can't help people that don't want to be helped. No matter how much therapy you give someone, if they don't want to take the advice and do it themselves and try to make themselves better, they won't get better. And that's the hard part too, is when you're bored, taking initiative and doing things that excite you, doing things that make you want to wake up the next day, doing things that make you excited about life. Those things are hard to do on your own. And it's really up to you and only you to take that leap of faith and take that step and do things that you're scared of doing, or do things that motivate you in the moment, and or do things that you think are right in the moment. We have to like make so many decisions every day, and we can either choose to stay bored and choose to be comfortable and choose to live a mundane life and keep doing what we're doing. I also tend to fall sometimes into that space because we're kind of blocked by fear, and fear is a big enemy and a big barrier in our lives that is hard to overcome. But then when we do overcome it, we could accomplish great things or we could fail. And that also leads to how life is beautiful as well, because when those things, positive or negative, does happen, when that negative or positive outcome does happen, what are we going to do about it? Are we going to give up? If something good happens, are we going to celebrate? What happens after either of those things? Life continues. And then it gets bored again. It gets boring again. And we want more. We want the next best thing. We kind of just have to keep seeing the beauty in things. And honestly, sometimes it's just the little things that is what makes life beautiful. Like getting fresh air every day, even being grateful for things that you can normally do, being able to see, being able to hear, being able to walk, being able to touch things. Like, it's kind of crazy how we get all these things and we're born with these normal things, yet it's kind of incredible. I guess I'm kind of just like, I'm kind of getting in my feels right now. But yeah, I don't know. I'm also just trying to speak to myself as well and tell myself these things and keep myself in a grateful mindset, because it is sometimes hard to be grateful with what you have. But I think just keeping an open mind, keeping a positive mind, and an optimistic mind can really just change how you see life. It will change how you are when you're bored and to finding something interesting, even if it's small. And it's how you entertain yourself in the moment. I think that's what keeps you going. And that's even how a lot of people reach success, is when they find something that excites them, or something they're good at, or something that makes life less boring. So I'm also trying to find that out for myself. And I'm going through a journey just like everyone else. And we also have to remember that we're not alone in a lot of these things. Everyone is kind of going through the same thing. And another thing that also surprises me too is how we often see a lot of people we don't know as strangers. They are strangers, but we're also all going through the same thing. We all think similarly. We all experience similar things. We're all human. We're all kind of similar in a sense. We have our differences, but we also have our similarities. And we kind of almost pass people as if, they're weird or they're strange. And they are strangers to us because we don't know who they are. We don't know their personality or their past or who they are as a person, if they have good morals, if they have bad morals. We don't know any of that, but I feel like being able to help people and even offer a helping hand to people we don't know, even if it's smiling at someone or helping someone pick something up if they dropped it, or just saying hi, or just being a light in a person's life. It doesn't even matter how they react to it, but just again, finding the beauty in life can change anyone's perspective, can like flip the script for anyone. And it's also finding the beauty in life yourself, but also allowing other people to see the beauty in life by how you treat them and how others treat them. And sometimes people are not the nicest, even the people you're closest to. And oftentimes I feel like the people that we are closest to, we treat unfairly, or we treat worse than a stranger sometimes that we don't know too well. So I just think that being a light in your own life, finding beautiful things that you love, and being that support system for other people that you love and maybe that you don't know, it'll just make life even a little bit better for you and for someone else. And ultimately, I just think we all need to find that beauty in life, that little diamond in the rough that is hard to find often, but when you do, it could lead to extraordinary things. And when life gets boring again, just do stuff in the moment that makes you happy and that keeps you going. And that is something that I'm learning myself, and that is something that will forever be a factor in people's lives. And I hope that one day it changes my life too, and I can find the beauty in everything that I see, the bad, the ugly, the good, everything. Because there is. And life is a beautiful place. So, yeah, that is my message. And good night.